And we're back, and we're continuing the series that we're doing, which is what is next gen gaming. So in this series, we've been talking about a few topics. We're on video number 3, so let's get into it. Click loud. Now in the last one, we really kind of talked about systems no longer being maybe the center of attention in the household, in the living room, as it kind of was in the 90s. It's not really, a lot of them kind of just sit in the entertainment section. They do what they do, but it's not the same. It's not put out there where, you're coming over, you're staring at someone's system like, what? This is and whether or not out of the box system should be streaming. And we kind of got that with PlayStation 4 with the share factory and the things you're able to do, the designated share button, and then Microsoft as well doing streaming, but now on their next gen, they're actually having a share button that's in there. So you'll see a lot of people, similar to me, that are popping up that are creating more content, asking more questions, giving more feedback, walkthroughs on games and showing how great they are. And I think that's great for the gaming community. It continues to raise the bar. So in this one, we're going to talk about some things that are a little bit different. I'm going to start on the first one, which is the photo mode. You see a lot of games with photo modes, and you see way more people who are literally, this is their job, a video game photographer, virtual photographer, I believe is the actual term, something like that. I mean, no disrespect for it. And it's not a joke, man. It's, people who are talented, some of them in real life, taking pictures, and others just for some reason in the game realm, that's their thing. But they're taking these really, really good epic pictures, whether they're close-ups or black and white, or they take the picture and they go into Photoshop. And from Photoshop, they're able to really crank it out, where some of these are looking like something that the studio made for a trailer. And you have it now where a lot of companies, Last of Us just did one, Last of Us 2 just did a contest for, what's the best picture that you can take in game. And it's unfortunate because you'll play a certain game and a certain game might not even have a really good photo mode. It's got a photo mode, but it's just not as smooth as some of these other games. And if you play games like The Division or Control, or I can't think of the top of my head. I mean, it's just the amount of filters you get, the zoom, the tilt. It's just they're designed for you to show off how beautiful this game is and allow you to have your own touch on it. And I would really like to see that next gen. I would really like to see that where it's just a default. Like when you buy whether it's a Samsung or an Apple, it's default. It doesn't matter what series continues. It takes pictures the same. And I think it would be cool if Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo had something that maybe ran over what the game gave you, just in case the game, didn't give you a designated photo mode. But can you imagine if, you played so long with this mode that you knew how to take pictures regardless what game it was, and you knew exactly what you were going to do. So you press the button, you switch it, it's in photo mode just like that, and you're able to take a picture and do stuff. And I think the next gen part about taking pictures are actually taking pictures in action. A lot of times when I'm playing Division or Division 2, I'm trying to take a picture while I'm shooting the gun or something, and you're just not able to do it because when you hit pause, it stops the game, and the game doesn't stop because it's a live game. So you end up, dying in the process, or it kicks you out of the photo mode because you're taking damage, which I completely understand. So those pictures of creativity that you have in your head, you can't do unless maybe you're playing online with other people. And if you are, then they're the ones taking the picture, risking their digital lives just like you to get that great shot. So I think that'll be really good. I mean, I hate to say it in a negative way, to throw under the bus, but you look at the game like Marvel's Avengers that just came out. Good looking game, has a photo mode, but if you look at the photo mode, it is lacking. It doesn't allow you to really to do what a lot of games are doing right now in current gen. So obviously they can fix that with a patch or something, or we'll see what it looks like when it gets ported over to PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox. But photo mode, I think that's something that we should have that is next gen, because clearly it's a part of the game. I mean, whether it's cosplay or even people who are taking the game, the cutscenes, and they edit their own scripts over it, or they make their own cartoons, or not cartoons, but like almost like a web shows off of what the game already has. Like, you remember, I think it was Red vs. Blue from Halo, and I think if we open something in there for the photo mode that allowed us to do it, I think there's more contents there. There's more that you can get out of it. And like I said, we talked about streaming out of the box, and even with that and what I just said, keeping it to the current time, there's a situation that's going on, and I'll try to get more information on it with Twitch and another gentleman that is not in charge of the Google. I don't want to mess up the name of their system, but you know what I'm talking about, the little system that's similar to PC. It ports and almost sometimes feels like it doesn't get the love it deserves. But he's one of the guys that works at one of the studios that was bought by Google to do Statica. Is that what it is? But anyways, I think there was a comment he said where, and you know, the comment he said really isn't the focal point of what I'm saying. It's the conversation was coming up with things like Twitch and YouTube, streaming in general, that the company paid the developers to make the game, and they paid for the voice acting, they paid for the music, and other people are using that footage to make money off of it because they get ad revenue, they're getting sponsorships and things of that nature. So the conversation comes off as, are the games owned by the person who buys the game to do whatever they want with it? Or in that area, do they have to pay? If I was going to stream WWE, sorry, WWE 2K, do I have to contact them and ask for permission? That's something different that we're getting into, and that's next gen. So it's I don't think the timing is right as far as what the two companies want to do, because at some point they're going to have to, ask themselves or just answer the question of, what do we do in the streaming world where, again, we're dealing with harassment in streaming, and you saw how Twitch kind of did what they did, and you see what's happening with studios when they're dealing with things that are happening in house. So yeah, what do you do as a streamer or content creator when you're using the game but you're not paying for the music like the other person uses? Or let's say you don't use music and you take out the audio and you're just playing the game in the background and talking about it. So I think we're going to get into that. Not me, but I think the community, the gaming community, is going to get into that very shortly. The other thing is, I would like to see us move more back into exclusive titles. Like you see what Xbox did, where they bought, the full studio that brought you Doom, Fallout, Elder Scroll. I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, maybe because I'm old school, and that's good and bad, but maybe because I remember that I could only play Mario on Mario. I never thought it would be cool to play it on the Sega Genesis. I never thought it'd be cool to play it on PlayStation 1. I just thought that, hey, look, Lara Croft is here. Crash Bandicoot is here. Mario is here. And I was fine with that. It put me in a situation where I wanted to buy all the systems because I wanted to get that franchise character for the game that I really liked. I wanted to run around in Super Mario Bros. 3. But in the same sense, I knew that this WWE game was only on this system. So I think I don't think we're ever get back to it necessarily. I think right now it's just really the business is going back and forth and trying to get the best team together, the best grouping of games to get sales. But I think having games like Cyberpunk that are on all systems, as great of a game as that is, can you imagine if that game was solely on Xbox, solely on Nintendo Switch? That means now you need to buy that system, right? So you buy that system for that awesome game, right? And now you're opening your eyes to a system that you've never played before. So, I mean, like I said, I don't have any problem with it. I mean, we'll talk about Marvel's using Spider-Man as an exclusive character that comes out in 2021, and people upset about it. How could you do that? Well, I mean, if you look at some of the comic book Marvel games in the past on a different developing team, this is nothing new. They've done that before, where it's exclusive because it's on this system or whatever the case is. So, like I said, I have no problem with that at all. I think that adds to it. I think we need to get back to co-op or local play party games, like Jack and or you don't know Jack, you had what else? Dance Dance Revolution, Rock Band, Guitar Hero, Buzzed on PlayStation, Monopoly games, Uno games of that nature, where in mobile clearly people are playing together, and even on the systems with Fall Guys and Among Us. I think we've got to get back to that, because even right now with the pandemic and people being quarantined, and obviously we'll, hopefully move on from this and kind of laugh at being in quarantine and kind of being to your thoughts, but being able to play with the people inside the room and play the game, and the game is designed that way, not an afterthought, I think is fun. And I would like to see that more in next gen gaming, and us not get too far away from that experience. That is a fun experience. So co-op and multiplayer, not just being online. I'm not saying get rid of online. Let's keep online. That's nice, but let's do it where you're able to play games on the same system. I can't remember what's the game. It's like some cooking game where, like, I think maybe it's Cooking Wars or something. I can't remember, but you're able to play and work together as a team playing the game on the same system, and it's a good thing. On Borderlands 3, one of the features they're going to do moving forward for PlayStation 5 and I think Xbox as well is you're going to be able to do co-op on the screen, and it'll be split screen. So I'm all for bringing back that same feeling, because I mean, did you ever play, Perfect Dark or GoldenEye? Did you play Duke Nukem, where you're playing online as a group? It was fun. It just was. If you were playing WCW World Tour, it was just fun, sitting there in the living room with your friends and family playing the game. So the Wii was on to something, and it did something, and Nintendo Switch could continue to do the exact same thing and give games that were different from that. So I think we need to get back into that co-op play local. So again, thank you. Could have been anywhere in the world and you were here, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate the likes, the views, the notification bell ringing, and things of that nature. Till next time, Kalika Lika Lao.